for investors, for flippers, for NFT enthusiasts to identify how much the value of the project is. But it's not the end all and be all factor, but it is a common tool that we use, or a common term that we use to identify the price of a particular project. Hi guys, welcome back to the Property King. For today's episode, we're going to discuss NFT terms that every beginner should know. Let's start with the term NFT. So NFT stands for non-fungible token. So it's basically a token that is based on the metaverse, and its value is derived from the cryptocurrency. Like in the case, the most popular one is the Ethereum blockchain. And when you say NFT, it's non-fungible, right? So the first part is non-fungible. That means it's irreplaceable, it's unique, it can't be replaced or swapped with another particular item. So what are the examples of non-fungible items like in the real world? So one good example could be a piece of art or a painting, right? So let's say you own the Mona Lisa, right? So the original one, it's very unique, it's one of a kind, it's only one Mona Lisa original painting in the world. And if you own that property, that painting, then it holds a lot of value because it's unique, and the community, it has its own history, and people really put value to that particular painting, not just because of the artwork, but also the person behind the painting, the artist, right? So it's the same thing when it comes to NFTs. Though people might say that, okay, it's just a JPEG, right? So if I just take a screenshot of your NFT and put it in my laptop, or print it, or put it in a digital frame, then I have the same particular NFT like yours, right? But no, it's not the same, because each particular NFT has its own unique contract address, and it's usually embedded in the blockchain where the NFT is based. So in the case on where I'm invested right now, it's in the Ethereum blockchain, and the NFTs that are based there are unique in its own way, so it can't be replicated, and you can verify it through the wallet address, and if it's connected to the real developer or the real artist who released or created that particular NFT. So NFTs now are being used by influencers, whales, these celebrities to flex their digital assets. So instead of the sports cars like the Lambos, the Ferraris, diba? The sports car, that are being flexed, or even the mansions that are being flexed as a sign of prosperity and wealth, as a sign of a status symbol in the community. Now NFTs are being used for the same particular manner, for the same purpose, and it's quite fascinating because some NFTs are valued at over hundreds of millions of pesos already. Okay, so we'll talk about that in another episode, but that's what NFT is. Okay, so that's the first one, the first term that you should know. Another term that you should know about is the term project. Okay, so when you say project, it's usually a collection of NFTs that could have utility or not. It could be a game in the future, it could have tokens in the future, it could give you access to particular clubs or organizations or get-togethers, or get instant information to upcoming projects that will be hyped. Okay, so or where the whales or the community will be going to invest in, for particular NFTs. But the project is a collection of these NFTs. So it really depends from one project to another. Some only have limited number. Like in the case of Octoheads, it's only the first version of it. The Genesis Octoheads is just 888. So it's very, very few. But some projects could go as high as 10,000 pieces. Okay, but it's quite common to see projects or collections that would range from around 800, 1,000 to as high as 10,000. Anything more than that would be a little bit on the suspicious side already. Okay, so that's the project for you. The next one is the roadmap. So when you encounter the word roadmap in the metaverse, it usually refers to the plans, of the developer or the artist behind the project for the future, for the next coming months, what will happen, in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5, whatever it is, what will happen to the project on a step-by-step basis. In some cases, they allot this in terms of dates, okay? They schedule it based on the dates. Some schedule it by the time that they sell a portion of the NFTs. Let's say if they're 25% sold, this will happen. 50% sold, they will release another feature, things like that, okay? What could be written in the roadmap? It could be, plans for a future game, a play-to-earn game. It could be, plans to donate proceeds of the minting to a particular organization. It could be a DAO, or later on we'll talk about what a DAO is. It could be about tokens. It could be about breeding. It could be about clubs. It could be about, raffling off a Lamborghini. It could be as wild as that, or giving away Ethereum tokens. It really depends, sky's the limit in terms of opportunities in the roadmap. Okay, so that's roadmap for you. Next one is liquidity. So when you talk about liquidity, we're not talking about cash. We're talking about liquidity in terms of the cryptocurrency where you're investing in. So for example, again, I'm investing in the OpenSea projects in the Ethereum blockchain. So when you talk about liquidity, you're talking about how much ETH or Ethereum do I have in my wallet that's not invested in any particular project or NFT. So that is my liquidity. So next up is mint. So mint is the term that we use, to buy NFTs from the developer or the artist. So before it's offered to the secondary market in the OpenSea, you mint the project first from the website, typically of the developer or the artist. That's what minting is. Next is gas. Gas is the fees, the transaction fees that you pay to the network in order to, buy, sell, or mint or transfer NFTs from one wallet to another, from one owner to another owner, okay? So if there's any transactions being done, within the network, it typically charges a certain gas fee. So you need to be aware of this because gas prices really are fluctuating. In some cases, it's very high, it could be higher than the cost of the project, or sometimes it's very low. So right now, it's a real problem when it comes to the Ethereum network because of the high gas fees. Next is the floor. So when you encounter the term floor, you're actually referring to the lowest price available in OpenSea where, a particular NFT is being sold for. So let's say, for example, let's go back to the example of octoheads, right? So as I've mentioned, there's 888 Genesis octoheads that are available. And let's say 100 of them, 100 of the owners are selling their 100 octoheads. So the most affordable octohead that is for sale, that is the floor. So if you look at the project and you see that the floor is, let's say, 1.5 Ethereum, then that means that the cheapest that you can buy right now is 1.5 ETH, okay? But that's not the upper limit, okay? So the floor changes from one point to another. It could change in a matter of minutes, seconds, or in some cases, there's no movement if there's no sale happening or there's no changes in the listing price, okay? So the floor is usually a good indicator, for investors, for flippers, for NFT enthusiasts to identify how much the value of the project is. But it's not the, the end all and be all factor, but it is a common tool that we use or a common term that we use to identify the price of a particular project. So that wraps up our episode for today. Thank you so much for listening. Again, if you like the video, please press the like button down below. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Don't forget to click that bell icon so you're notified each time we have new content. And don't be shy, just comment down below if you have any suggestions, comments, or feedback about this particular episode. So that's it, guys. My name is RK. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, let's all grow wealthy together. Goodbye.